Let me tell you something. Most people fail, not because they lack talent, not because they don't have opportunities, but because they are too busy talking when they should be working. See, success doesn't announce itself with a megaphone. It doesn't come wrapped in applause. It comes in the quiet moments, when you decide to get up early, put in the work, and stay consistent while the world sleeps. Success doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the quiet, unseen moments when no one is watching. In today's world where everyone is broadcasting their every move, there is immense power in moving in silence. Real transformation doesn't come from public validation. It comes from private commitment. Most people don't realize that the most successful individuals are not the ones making the most noise. They are the ones working relentlessly in silence, allowing their results to do the talking. Think about nature. A tree doesn't announce when it's growing. You don't hear the sound of its roots digging deeper into the earth. Yet one day, that small seed that was buried beneath the soil breaks through, standing tall and unshakable. That's how success works. It starts beneath the surface, in places no one sees. It starts when you make the decision to focus on yourself, to shut out the distractions, and to commit to your own growth. The problem with most people is that they want instant recognition. They want people to see their progress, applaud their efforts, and acknowledge their grind. But the need for external validation weakens internal discipline. When you constantly seek approval from others, you give away your power. You begin to shape your actions based on what others think rather than what truly matters. And the moment you start chasing validation, you lose sight of the real goal, becoming the best version of yourself. The most powerful transformations happen in silence, because silence eliminates the noise. When you operate in silence, you remove the distractions that pull you away from your purpose. You stop worrying about who's watching, who's supporting you, or who's doubting you. You realize that none of that matters. The only thing that matters is the work you put in when no one else is looking. Have you ever noticed that the most disciplined people don't spend their time explaining what they're doing? They just do it. The athlete training at 5 a.m. doesn't post about it every day. He just shows up and puts in the work. The entrepreneur grinding to build a business isn't busy making announcements. She's making moves. The student studying late at night isn't seeking approval, he's seeking mastery. There's a reason why silent workers achieve the most. When you stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it, you channel all your energy into execution. Every minute spent talking about your plans is a minute taken away from actually achieving them. When you move in silence, you protect your energy. You keep your goals safe from negativity, from doubts, and from distractions. Another powerful thing about silent transformation is that it creates an element of surprise. When you are constantly announcing your every step, people expect your success, and they start forming opinions about your journey. Some will cheer for you, but many will doubt you. Some will secretly hope you fail, and whether you realize it or not, their energy influences you. But when you move in silence, you remove all of that. No one knows what you're up to. No one sees your struggles, your challenges, or your breakthroughs until it's too late for them to stop you. Silence also builds confidence. When you stop looking for external reassurance, you learn to trust yourself. You develop inner strength, knowing that your results will speak for you. This confidence is unshakable because it's built on real work, not empty words. The truth is, most people fail because they talk more than they work. They tell everyone about their big plans, but when it's time to execute, they lack the discipline to follow through. They want the reward without the effort, the success without the sacrifice. But success doesn't work like that. Success requires relentless focus, consistent effort, and the ability to push through challenges without needing applause. When you embrace the power of silent transformation, you free yourself from the opinions of others. You stop waiting for permission to succeed. You stop seeking validation for your dreams. You realize that success is not about who notices you, it's about who you become in the process. So, if you're serious about changing your life, stop making announcements and start making progress. Move in silence, work in silence, grow in silence. And when the time is right, your results will make the noise for you. Too many people spend their lives watching others, comparing themselves and measuring their progress against someone else's timeline. They scroll through social media, seeing highlight reels of other people's success, and instead of focusing on their own journey, they get caught up in competition that doesn't even exist. The truth is, the moment you shift your focus from your own growth to someone else's achievements, you lose control over your destiny. The fastest way to slow down your own progress is to keep looking at someone else's lane. Success isn't a group project. No one else is responsible for your growth, your income, your discipline, or your results. The only person you should be competing with is the person you were yesterday. But most people don't operate that way. Instead, they waste their energy worrying about what someone else is doing. They compare their beginnings to someone else's middle. They measure their own success by the standards of people who have a completely different background, different struggles, and different opportunities. And in doing so, they rob themselves of the power they have to change their own lives. When you focus on yourself, you reclaim your time, energy, and attention. You stop wasting effort on things that don't matter and start investing it in things that do. You stop looking sideways and start looking forward. Instead of worrying about someone else's success, you use that energy to build your own. Instead of feeling jealous of what someone else has, you learn from them. Instead of competing with people who aren't even aware of you, you compete with yourself to be better, sharper, and stronger every single day. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that they have to be in constant competition with others. But competition is a distraction. The real game is self-mastery. The real challenge is becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success because of the value they bring to the world. And the only way to do that is by focusing on your own growth, your own discipline, and your own purpose. Think about it. The best athletes in the world don't win by obsessing over their opponents. They win by mastering their own skills, improving their own speed, and sharpening their own strategies. A sprinter doesn't look at the runner next to them during a race. They focus on their own stride. The moment they turn their head to see what someone else is doing, they slow down. And that's exactly what happens in life. When you start focusing on others, you take your eyes off your own progress. You hesitate. You second guess yourself. And in that moment of doubt, you lose momentum. Focusing on yourself means taking full responsibility for your journey. It means understanding that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. No one is going to hand you success on a silver platter. If you want something, you have to go out and get it. You have to put in the time, the effort, and the dedication without worrying about who's ahead of you or who's behind you. It also means being intentional about where you place your energy. Every time you compare yourself to someone else, you are giving away your power. Every time you worry about what others are doing, you are wasting time that could be spent on your own growth. Imagine what you could achieve if you redirected all that energy toward building yourself up instead of tearing yourself down with comparisons. There's another reason why focusing on yourself is so powerful. It eliminates unnecessary stress. When you stop caring about what others think, you free yourself from the pressure of trying to impress people who don't matter. You stop making decisions based on opinions that have nothing to do with your vision. You stop living for validation and start living for progress. Most people live their entire lives worried about what others will say if they fail. But the truth is, nobody cares as much as you think they do. People are too busy dealing with their own problems to be focused on yours. So why waste your time worrying about them? The only opinion that truly matters is the one you have of yourself. The only approval you need is your own. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. It's how you grow. It's how you create success. It's how you become the kind of person who naturally attracts opportunities instead of chasing them. When you operate with a mindset of self-improvement, you automatically put yourself in a position to win. You become more disciplined. You become more confident. You become more valuable. And when you become more valuable, success follows. So stop watching, stop comparing, stop competing. The only person you should be trying to beat is the person in the mirror. If you can wake up every day and say, I am better than I was yesterday, then you are already winning. Stay in your lane, focus on your journey, and watch how fast your life changes. Most people love to talk about what they're going to do. They announce their goals, share their dreams, and tell the world about their plans. But when it's time to actually do the work, they disappear. They get distracted, they procrastinate, and they find excuses. Talking about success is easy. Actually achieving it requires discipline. The truth is, discipline will take you places that motivation and discussion never will. Success isn't about how many people know what you're working on. It's about how consistent you are when no one is watching. The people who win in life are not the ones making the most noise, they're the ones making the most moves. They understand that results don't come from conversations, they come from execution. While others are busy debating, planning, and waiting for the perfect moment, disciplined people are already working, already building, and already improving. There's a dangerous mindset that holds people back. The belief that talking about something is the same as doing it. It's not. Telling people your plans might feel good in the moment. It might even give you a sense of accomplishment, but it does nothing to move you forward. Words without action are empty. They create an illusion of progress while keeping you stuck in the same place. Discipline means making a decision and sticking to it no matter how you feel. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline keeps you moving forward, even on the days when you don't feel like it. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't talent, luck, or opportunity, it's consistency. It's the ability to keep going day after day, whether it's convenient or not. One of the biggest traps people fall into is waiting until they feel ready. They tell themselves they'll start when they have more time, when they have more resources, or when the circumstances are perfect. But successful people don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. They take action despite uncertainty. They move forward even when it's uncomfortable. They understand that if they wait until they feel ready, they'll be waiting forever. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up early to work on your goals even when your bed feels comfortable. It's sticking to your commitments even when no one is holding you accountable. It's pushing through challenges even when you feel like giving up. Most people will never reach their full potential because they lack discipline. They want the results without the effort. They want the rewards without the sacrifice. But success doesn't work like that. You don't get to the top by talking about what you're going to do. You get there by putting in the work consistent every single day. Look at the most successful people in any industry. They didn't get there by accident. They didn't get there by making excuses or waiting for the right time. They got there because they committed to a process and followed through no matter what. They didn't let distractions, doubts, or setbacks stop them. They stayed focused, disciplined, and relentless. The truth is, discipline separates the winners from the losers. It determines who succeeds and who doesn't. Anyone can have a dream, but very few people have the discipline to turn that dream into reality. Most people start strong but quit when things get tough. They give up when they don't see immediate results. They let distractions pull them away from their goals. But disciplined people don't quit. They keep going even when progress is slow. They stay committed even when no one else believes in them. If you want to change your life, you have to stop talking and start doing. You have to develop the kind of discipline that keeps you moving forward no matter what. You have to be the kind of person who does what they say they're going to do, not just once or twice, but consistently. Think about this. What if for the next 6 months, you focused completely on execution? No announcements, no excuses, no waiting for the right moment, just pure disciplined action. How much progress could you make? How different would your life look? The answer is simple. Everything would change. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. But the people who succeed understand that small, consistent actions add up over time. They don't chase overnight success. They commit to the process. They know that if they show up and do the work every day, the results will take care of themselves. So stop talking, stop planning endlessly, stop waiting for motivation, just do the work. Discipline will take you further than any conversation ever will. And one day, when people ask you how you achieved so much, you won't have to say a word because your results will speak for you. Success is not loud. It doesn't come with announcements, and it doesn't beg for attention. The people who truly make an impact don't waste their time trying to convince others that they are successful. They let their results do the talking. When you move in silence and focus on your work, success will eventually make enough noise for you. The moment you stop chasing attention and start chasing excellence, you become unstoppable. Most people feel the need to prove themselves too early. They talk about what they're working on, they share their goals with everyone, and they seek validation from the outside world. But in reality, this approach often backfires. Talking too much about your plans can drain the energy needed to actually execute them. The more you speak, the more pressure you put on yourself, and sometimes that pressure turns into doubt instead of motivation. That's why the most successful people don't announce their every move. They just work. And then one day, the world sees the results. Think about how nature operates. The strongest forces are often silent. The roots of a tree grow deep beneath the surface before the world ever sees the branches. The foundation of a skyscraper is built long before the building rises above the ground. The most dangerous predators move quietly before they strike. Success works the same way. It builds in silence before it becomes visible to the world. One of the greatest benefits of working in silence is that it eliminates distractions. When you stop worrying about what others think, you free up space in your mind to focus entirely on your growth. You stop seeking approval and start seeking mastery. You stop worrying about who's watching and start worrying about your execution. You become so locked in on your goals that outside opinions no longer affect your direction. When you work in silence, you also remove unnecessary expectations. If you constantly announce what you're going to do, people will start watching, waiting to see if you succeed or fail. This can create pressure that makes it harder to stay focused. But when you move quietly, you give yourself room to make mistakes, to experiment, and to learn without judgment. You give yourself permission to grow at your own pace without the noise of external opinions clouding your judgment. Another powerful aspect of silence is that it creates mystery. When people don't know what you're working on, they can't interfere. They can't discourage you. They can't copy your strategy, and they can't set up roadblocks in your path. Your moves remain unpredictable, and that unpredictability is a powerful advantage. The less people know about your plans, the harder it is for them to disrupt your progress. The truth is, people will always have opinions, but opinions don't pay your bills. They don't build your business. They don't create your success. The only thing that does is your ability to execute with discipline day in and day out. And execution happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when there's no applause, and when the only voice you hear is the one telling you to keep going. Look at the most successful entrepreneurs, athletes, and leaders. They didn't achieve greatness by announcing every step they were going to take. They spent years working, training, and refining their skills behind the scenes. And by the time the world noticed them, they had already mastered their craft. They didn't need to talk about success. They became it. This is the difference between those who make noise and those who make an impact. Noisy people seek attention before they've put in the work. They want recognition before they've earned it. But those who truly succeed understand that recognition is a byproduct of results, not words. They don't need to convince anyone of their work because their achievements do that for them. There's something powerful about showing up one day and letting your work speak for itself. Imagine grinding in silence for months, building something incredible without anyone knowing, and then one day, when you reveal the results, people are left in awe. They wonder how you did it, when you did it, and why they never saw it coming. That's the power of silence. It allows you to move strategically, to develop yourself fully, and to let success introduce you instead of your words. This doesn't mean you should never share your journey, but it does mean that your focus should always be on execution first. Talk less, do more, plan in private, execute in public. Let people be surprised by your results instead of expecting them from your words. At the end of the day, success isn't about how loud you are, it's about how effective you are. So stop seeking validation. Stop feeling the need to prove yourself before you've done the work. Get disciplined, get focused, and stay consistent. Because when you move in silence, success will speak so loudly that you won't have to say a word.